Hey, what's up, party people? Welcome to a special pre-tape Monday episode of SJU. The news is old, but we're hot. I'm here with Lon and Eric. And today we're talking about the only topic that matters, the sequel to Face Off. I don't care what happened today. This is the biggest news. Wow, I hope that doesn't come back to bite me.
Yeah, don't say that these days.
Yeah, you never know.
Pre-tape. This is a pre-tape. Yeah. So we got an amazing announcement from Deadline that there will be a follow-up, not a remake, not a reimagining, but a sequel. Sans John Woo, but they're making a sequel to Face Off. The Godzilla vs. Kong director Adam Wingard is set to helm the script, and he's co-writing it with his partner Simon Barrett. Neil Moritz will produce. It's going to be for Paramount, and hell yeah. We thought this was a reboot, but he actually went online to clarify that this is actually going to be a sequel, saying, quote, "I would never reimagine or remake Face Off. It's a perfect action movie." Agree. Simon Barrett and I are writing a direct sequel. So we're getting Face Off 2,
Yes.
Electric Facealoo.
Hell yeah.
And I...
No, in your face, obviously, I think. Face Off 2 in your face.
In your face.
I think that writes itself.
Face on? Or just face
Apply
off with
directly to the face.
You could do just two slashes and make it look like a 2.
Oh,
the
yeah.
possibilities are endless.
All right, yeah. All right. I like that.
What a campaign.
But look, Castor Troy, as we left him, was impaled by a spear gun.
Spoiler alert for Face Off, by the way.
Let me just jump in right here. Regardless of the live or dead status of that Castor Troy, you could just easily say, well, they have a copy of his face in the lab. Somebody else has to put his face on. Boom, Nicolas Cage is back. Like, that's no problem at all.
Always make a copy of it.
Always have a backup.
Always have a backup face, I think, obviously. So yeah, I think I saw people try to figure out how they'll get Cage back in. It's like, it writes itself. It's easy.
It's in the title. You take his face off.
You take his face and you put it on and he's back, baby. Yeah.
And as we left him, John Travolta, Sean Archer, I believe, is he's raising Nick Cage's child.
Yeah.
Touching his wife awkwardly.
Everyone, he's touching
they're
everyone.
Called face waterfalls, you guys. Okay.
Yeah, it's is that Paul Shear who I believe?
Yeah. How did this get made, Coin? This is
really?
A face waterfall.
Don't go facing waterfalls. Is my jam. So yeah, he's got his kid and Janie, but I assume they're all grown up. So look, let's set aside for now Nick Cage and John Travolta returning for the movie, though I don't think you can count that out. Who are the two faces that you guys want to see swap when Face Off 2 rolls around? What's your casting choice for the faces?
I got a few thoughts on this. My first one is I also want to shout out to Vinny Mancuso, who tweeted his picks were Robert Pattinson and Tom Hardy, which I think is terrific. And that's if you want to do the we want to match that 90s energy. Who are the 2021 people who match that 90s energy?
I could see Tom Hardy, like Venom, fish tank level energy. Tom Hardy,
yeah,
good face off.
Exactly. So I kind of also tried to sort of who to me are like today's Nicolas Cage, John Travolta. Not that those guys are gone, but who would be our? So I feel like Gerard Butler and Jason Statham would be a good duo that sort of fill in that they're action stars, but they're kind of kooky. They could go unconventional. I think Gerard Butler would be a good Sean Archer. Jason Statham would pull off the Castor Troy role pretty well.
I've never seen Jason Statham let loose, go full operatic, and I think you need that kind of
earlier, the Guy Ritchie stuff. That Statham.
There'd be a meta aspect to that too, because in the very funny Spy, he has a running gag about how he wants to have the face-off machine.
Exactly. Yes. So thank you, Eric, for picking that one up. Yes.
Bring it all together.
I honestly think that would be that kind of, it's a little corny, but you could also they're legit action stars, and I like that balance to it.
Okay. A little muted for me, but this is the first one. We're just getting started. Eric, what do you got?
I got a few more.
So it was also I tried to think back to the fact that Cage and Travolta did that movie in '97. Neither of them were established action stars. They were both coming off their first action movies, which is Broken Arrow and The Rock, respectively. But especially for Cage, it was a huge pivot from indie actor to now I'm going to do a bunch of action movies. Con Air, I think, came out like 2 weeks apart from Face Off. It was a weird time. So I was like, let's take from the indie world here. And I thought about two guys who at one point seemed to be like just rotating roles, especially in trailers I was seeing. So I want to see Lucas Hedges and Timothy Chalamet.
God damn.
As the next generation.
Boo.
Wait, hang on. What are the starting roles? Who's Sean Archer? Who's Castor Troy?
I think Chalamet is the in the caster. Again, I think it sounds like this will probably be a reboot quote, we're guessing, right? Like a Face Off Generations.
Right, that's what I'm assuming. Is there's going to be Travolta's still alive. He's coming back. Probably Margaret Cho. Throw her back in the mix as well.
I'm guessing there's like a third act where like they have to face off again, Travolta and Cage. Exactly. But first we have
they're training or he's training or supervising a new face off. Yeah.
So Chalamet's the bad guy when we begin.
There you go.
And then
that's what I'm asking.
I'm not loving these. I got to be honest. All right, fine. Look.
Well, give us yours then.
All right, here's my pick. And I think that both these guys have that extra gear, and they're willing to give this the operatic, manic quality that you're looking for in a face-off movie. And they're also constantly mistaken for each other. I'm doing Daniel Radcliffe and Elijah Wood. I think the time has come for them to swap faces. I think between like Guns Akimbo, Come to Daddy, the Farting Corpse movie, that they could both do just an incredible running around, just two little 5'2" animals, just with double pistols, just diving all over the place and chasing each other around LA. Yeah. I just think that they've both shown that they can go crazy on screen and have fun with it and kind of be winking, but not in like an incredibly meta way that would take you out of the movie. And I just think that they're really easy to like launch. You could like really toss them out of stuff and pull them on ropes and things like that and just have them cannonballing all over the place. I think that's that would be the most fun for me, though I do have other picks.
Yeah,
there you go. I've stunned you into silence with how perfect it is.
I feel like Jake Gyllenhaal also could like pop in and out of one of those scenarios.
He was my next one.
It's funny because aren't Radcliffe and Wood like on like a magazine cover right now?
Yeah, I just saw them this morning. Yeah,
I did this morning, and I thought, what if their faces swap?
What if
they face off? Yeah.
Well, I'll give you my next one. I get two guys who I feel like very different energy, but could match one another's energy if they tried to. That would be Lakeith Stanfield in the Sean Archer good guy starting out role, Chris Rock in the bad guy Castor Troy maniacal terrorist role.
I like that.
I'm in for
there's
that.
Definitely an age difference, which is fine.
I mean, Face Off, we're ignoring the considerable height differential.
And I think Travolta has a decade on Cage too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it, is that they don't need to be. People always try to think of who are the two guys who are like exact physical matches, like
they weren't. They never were.
They weren't. It was never about that. Obviously, it's a ludicrous scenario from moment one, and they don't try to make it less so.
Yeah, I like that. I like where you're going with that one. Good mix of energies. Eric, did you have anyone else that you want to swap?
I went, and these are not younger actors at all. In fact, they're pretty much contemporaries of Cage and Travolta. I just thought it'd be fun. So I thought about Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman, Dracula co-stars. And you'd start with Oldman, Castor Troy, and doing his villain thing. But then, like Face Off, you get to switch it up pretty quickly. And I want to see them kind of play each other. So I want to see Oldman play Reeves, really. That's like my main goal here with the two of that. But I want to see the opposite as well. And Keanu Reeves do a Gary Oldman villain role. So again, age-wise, it would just be two other face-offers of the same era. But
that's great. It's been a while since Keanu played a bad guy.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time.
The Gift. He's definitely a bad guy in The Gift.
Yes.
You mentioned Gyllenhaal, and yes, I am guilty of the big age difference as well. But I think it's time for Tom Cruise to do a dumb movie like this, and the Tom Cruise Jake Gyllenhaal swap. Cruise is Castor Troy, and I just want to see him like jumping off the furniture and just giving that kind of performance.
Yeah, like a Castor Troy with like Frank T.J. Mackey energy. Like I can see that for sure. Yeah, I like that
definitely.
a lot.
But wouldn't Tom Cruise want to actually do the face-off? Like, isn't
Yes,
his
he
whole
would.
thing now, like practical?
Yes,
like,
he would swap faces.
He's like,
with
I'll take this
somebody.
role if my scientists can develop the technology.
Yeah,
We'll make
he's
work.
done it before. He'll do it again.
It's going to be like a one-take face-off where they actually remove Tom Cruise's face.
Right.
Yeah.
And per usual, like Cavell not actually jumping out of the plane with them. It's like his co-star won't do it. Gyllenhaal's like, no, that's not me. But Cruise.
But he is going to have one of those old-timey mustaches that goes all the way to his side.
Right.
Hell yeah. Do you have any other anyone else, Eric?
I had one more thought just because I was like, why not do a lady? What would be the lady? Who would
Ladies
the
have
lady?
faces, yeah.
They have faces.
They can trade faces.
Yeah.
So my thought on it, let me know what you think. Saoirse Ronan is your Sean Archer, your hero. Julia Garner from Ozark, she's your Castor Troy. She's your maniacal villain.
Yeah, I didn't watch Ozark, but I've seen her in other things. But you think she's
the
got
assistant. She was just in the assistant. She's amazing.
I know her
Okay.
from The Americans.
Right. And she could always, yes, she's fantastic in everything. I'm very confident she could do a mustache twirly villain turn in something like a face off.
All right.
I also thought maybe Aubrey
and-
Plaza as your face-off villain.
Oh, that was my next. That was my.
Sorry. I didn't mean to-
mine is Aubrey Plaza and Jennifer Lawrence. And you start with Plaza as the bad guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Then you swap, and then you get to see Lawrence playing Plaza, and vice versa.
Well, now for any of these, do you think that it's improved or is it made more confusing if they do bring back Cage and Travolta, because they're available and they will work for money? Do you do a four-way face swap, or is that too many faces?
Four-way face.
Oh, I definitely think you do a four-way face swap. I think it's or even a three-way. My pitch would be there's two other people that are swapping. And Travolta's taking the mentor, I'm going to oversee this new face swap role. At some point, he needs to get involved and he needs to make a contact that only knew Castor Troy and not him. So he's got to don Nicolas Cage's face and go out into the world and be Castor Troy.
That's exactly
and that's how you work them all in.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exactly that. Like, we've got our new characters, but you got the legacy in there, and then the third act, it's like suddenly Nicolas Cage is the credit because he has to become him one more time.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's like there's a scene, there's gonna be some scene where they go into like a cryo vault and like open this like silver container that's got the Cage face in it. They've been holding on to just in case all this time.
But they'll write about and we can age it to age like you have.
They've got to create the story that Castor Troy's been alive this whole time.
Right. There's a whole face expanded universe that they could launch.
Oh man, it's gonna be
like
so
in The
good.
Mummy, like Russell Crowe can show up and tell him about all the faces that he's collected.
It really, sometimes a pitch comes along and it's like, was this just for me? Was this like somebody in Hollywood was like, you know what Lon would like?
Some other things I thought I just
let's
roll
get
through.
the guest guys to do a new face-off.
Yes. I thought I'd roll through this real quick just to see if there's any other things that you'd want to keep, kill, change from the original. We're not getting John Woo back, so how do you feel about doves? Do you feel like are you allowed to put doves in without Woo, or do you double the doves?
A dove nod.
I think you do a tasteful dove appreciate, like a beat where you acknowledge doves, but I don't think you need to. Like, I think there are some things from the first movie you got to bring back, like when he becomes Castor Troy, he's going to have to get the twin gold guns. We're going to have that moment. There's going to be a few nods, but no, I don't think you go full dove.
Oh, and did we have any ideas for like the sniveling weird younger brother?
Pollux Troy.
Pollux Troy.
Yeah,
Yes.
that guy's still Alessandro Nivola. That guy's still around. He's
All right, great. He's back.
Still in stuff. He can come back. I think you get him back. I think you get Joan Allen back. I think you probably get Margaret Cho back, and
That's true. Margaret Cho's in that movie. Wow.
That's right.
Okay, do we keep or kill or somewhat alter the magnet boot prison? Do they go back to the magnet boot prison?
I think they evolve the magnet boot prison, like it's some new kind of tech, but it's,
we had an escape 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we had an escape. So now we wear magnet gloves as well.
Right. Magnet
what I always
helmets
like
that pull us
for a
up.
sequel to do, is like take that idea of like they have to go to some crazy, fanciful, weird location, but make it like a new twist on that idea. So it's not the same place, but like some other place that resembles it in being totally ludicrous.
All right. And then finally, I guess, is it important to you that somebody gets impaled by a spear gun at the end of this film, or is that optional?
I think you come up with kind of like the prison thing. You have to escalate, right? It's a sequel, so it's not the same death. You just want to have a grand death of some other sort happen.
I do insist that someone eat a peach for hours.
I know we've said him say he could, but much like Solo showed him making the Kessel Run.
I need to see the origin of him eating a peach for
him eating that peach. Hell yeah. So I think we're all excited for Face Off 2. This is right up our alley. So I hope you guys are as excited as well. And I wish this was a live show because I'm sure you'd have a lot of good ideas going in the chat.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But leave them in the comments below. And at this point, if you're still watching, thank you. You are our people. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell, because we'll be back tomorrow in live form. Moving on, other news happened that I guess we'll mention for the hell of it. Black Widow and Fast 9, will they stay or will they go? I assume from their release dates, and I assume that they will go because the world is still under quarantine. Black Widow and F9 are poised to kick off summer movie-going season, but it seems like they're probably going to be delayed. At least that's the speculation. They will. Industry experts and insiders have been speculating Hollywood's next round of release date delays will begin to impact the middle of 2021. Ryan, do you have exact dates on when are they supposed to come out? Who knows?
I know it's top of May and end of May, respectively, for Black Widow and Fast.
Yeah, May seems a little early, you guys. Do you think that they should move again? And if so, how far do you need to punt these two films?
I think, Black Widow has the article mentions, like, we know that the Black Widow has so many more variables because it's part of the MCU and because there's so many connective tissue to other movies and now other TV shows. And by moving Black Widow, it also moves all the other MCU movies. So I think Black Widow, if it moves one more time, which I think it sounds like it's going to probably have to, moves to like August or September at the latest. They obviously know that anytime they're opening this year, they're not going to make the money they would have usually. There's reason to be a little more optimistic about the second half of this year, certainly going further into fall, but I don't think Black Widow has the luxury of time. So I think we get it by Labor Day weekend, one way or the other. Fast 9, I guess they could kind of, even though they're going to be filming more sequels, they could hold that to Christmas if they needed to, they could make it Christmas with the family. Why not?
Yeah, I think we moved to the part of the conversation where it was for a very long time, and we're still in this, but like where it's just, well, theaters are closed. So like we got to push all these movies until more theaters are just open and people could theoretically go to a theater, or it doesn't make any real sense. Like right now it's like drive-ins and little pockets of the country. I think we're going to move very soon within the next few months into an era where it's a little different. And it's like, well, there are theaters that are open. There are more people that can go. We just need to, how quickly are we to get back to like, you can make a decent amount of money doing it. Like where it's not just a few theaters, but it's enough theaters that you can make at least 50%, 75% of what you would have made before this nightmare started.
And it seems like that date is close enough that they're not going to just put it on streaming.
Right. And like, I think that's what nobody knows the answer. And like, everybody is just making calculations at that, but it's a nicer place to be in than we've been in for a year where it's just like nothing can come out because you will get sick because the air is poisoned.
Yeah, I was having I will say a civil argument or debate, because obviously on Twitter it can often be the opposite. But I was having a discussion with someone about he was very of the mind of like, movies are never going to go back to what it was as far as like, it'll never just be theaters only release. And I was like, it will for these big movies because that's the only way they can make the money that they are designed to make by their budgets. And the thing that really hit home for me was we're recording this on Friday and the Lunar New Year is starting in China. And that's always a big movie going time for them, and they just had the biggest single day for a movie opening in history for any market anywhere in the world, with Detective Chinatown 3 making 160 to 165 million in one day. That happened this year, this past weekend. Wow. So right now in the world that's happening, like records are being broken in one place where people, I actually asked online, I'm like, how it's capacity in China? And they said 75% right now for theaters, Beijing's 50%.
Wow.
So when Hollywood looks at that, they're like, we can still do this eventually, you know, and we want to get back to there, and we will get back there because we want to make that money.
Catch up with this Detective Chinatown franchise,
right?
Missing out on the global conversation.
It broke Endgame's record for a single day.
Wow.
Part one just went on, like, you can stream it now. I've actually been meaning to go back and catch up with the Detective Chinatown films. But the first one is on Amazon Prime and Tubi right now. So check it out, everybody.
But yeah, that just shows me like they see that and they're like, we can get there. And right now it's still a few months away and probably a year away from when it's like fully back in. But they'll hold off as long as they can. And as much as people are like, just put it out on streaming, they're like, but if we wait and we can make more money. And Black Widow is a different case. I think they're going to try to get that out sooner than later. But
yeah, I mean, you're right that Black Widow is a weird case because it's a ticking clock. It's like it's one little piece of this much larger puzzle, whereas all the other movies, it's just like you could keep punting them, and there's basically, I mean, with a few exceptions, you could just keep punting all the sequels and just move it on down the line. But like now that we have Disney Plus, like some of these shows are going to start spoiling Black Widow at some point.
Yeah, no, because we're going to meet Florence Pugh in Hawkeye. Right.
Exactly.
They don't want her. They don't want us to meet her that way. You know, they want us to meet her in Black Widow.
And then finally, I don't know if Ryan or Eric put this question in here. Would F9 work as a streaming release? I will answer that in a single word. No. No, it will not.
Listen, it's about family. And in this case, that means the other people are sharing the experience at a theater with you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the real families, the cinema going
family.
They're
your family, yeah.
You got to see those buff, bald men on the biggest screen
during that,
possible.
Let's say 2 hours and 50 minutes, I'm assuming, for the next one, because they get longer every time. That during those 3 hours, I am a family of everybody who's enjoying their adventures together with us.
There you go.
We're all having a virtual Corona together.
Our final topic of the day, it's President's Day weekend here in the U.S. So all you international people can tune out because we're going to talk about our favorite movie presidents, and if we even have any. I'm curious what you guys think is the best presidential performance on screen that isn't Donald Trump in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
He's not. He's just playing a helpful guy with directions. He's not playing a president in that. We should. I got to clarify first. Are we talking about the best acting performances, or are we talking about we think these guys or ladies are the best presidents?
I would say
doing the best job as president.
Okay, I'll give you two. One is the best performance, and then the other, just pick a character that you wish was president.
Oh, okay. There you go. Because I got some of my favorite performances, like Bill Pullman, I think Independence Day, you have to mention. To me, like Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact is like the platonic ideal of a movie president. Like that's what you picture when you picture like the president in a movie. But I really like the Jack Nicholson performance as president in Mars Attacks as well. I don't think he's a good president, but I like
right.
I just rewatched that movie and I'll back that. I mean, it's an easy one, but come on, Harrison Ford has a
James Marshall, man,
has an ass-kicking president. You got to go with that one. And then from a on-screen Marshall to a real-life Marshall, E.G. Marshall has a kid for whatever reason I always loved in Superman 2. Mm-hmm. The whole idea of the president the fake president first, who kneels, and then Zod's like, no leader would do this quickly, and then E.G. Marshall has the kind of president who does kneel but only to save his people. So I'll go Marshall and Marshall. Those are my picks for president.
I mean, it's become like almost a tired trope at this point to be like, oh, idiocracy protected everything, but Terry Crews as President Camacho is just an all-timer for me. That's probably my favorite.
I would add also Peter Sellers in Dr. Strangelove, a very funny classic film president. And he is, I believe he's president of the Federated Territories and not technically the United States. But I wouldn't want to overlook Tiny Lister in The Fifth Element.
I was going to say, much like Tiny Lister.
An iconic movie president.
Yes.
So iconic.
That's our council of presidents, guys.
Did you think of anyone?
He's a president. He's not a U.S. president. Yeah, but cut me a break.
Any movie characters you'd like to see take on the head of state?
Oh, like go on in their career to become president?
I think it would be a great sequel for King Ralph if John Goodman wants to reprise maybe his most iconic role. He's been the British monarch. Why not lead America next? That's a good sequel idea.
I say President Dominic Toretto. You know, he got pardoned.
Family first.
That's right. You run on the family first campaign.
Meet the new first family. That's the tagline.
Yes. I'm so in.
Yeah, I'll go with, I guess he's ineligible because he's British, but Paddington, and also is a bear.
He's ineligible for several reasons.
No,
like age-wise too, right?
You can see the scene in the trailer where they find like the bylaw. Oh, wait.
There's something in the Constitution.
He smudges marmalade on that part of the Constitution. They can't really well, I guess he's president now.
Perfect.
Peruvian British immigrant somehow rises.
Well,
President Paddington, that'd be good. Sorry.
Thank you guys for spending your holiday here with us, or if you're at work, wasting time with us. And thank you guys for spending your pre-tape Friday with me, Lon, Eric.
Always a pleasure.
Much appreciated. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. That's our show. Bye bye.